Embark on a journey through some of the most transformative moments in American history. These key events have shaped the nation's identity and destiny. The Boston Tea Party, 1773. In the 1770s, colonial America simmered with discontent. The British Parliament's taxes on tea, among other goods, angered the colonists. On the night of December 16, 1773, a group of colonists, disguised as Mohawk Native Americans, boarded 3 British ships in Boston Harbor. They seized crates of British tea and defiantly tossed them into the harbor in what would become known as the Boston Tea Party. The Boston Tea Party symbolized colonial resistance to British taxation without representation. It was a spark that ignited the flames of revolution. The Declaration of Independence, 1776. In 1776, colonial America was a hotbed of revolutionary spirit, with tensions rising between the American colonies and British rule. On July 4, 1776, representatives of the 13 American colonies gathered in Philadelphia at the Continental Congress. Thomas Jefferson, a Virginia delegate, was tasked with drafting a document that would articulate the colony's desire for independence. The result was the Declaration of Independence, a bold statement that declared America's separation from British rule. The Declaration of Independence marked the birth of a new nation, founded on principles of liberty, equality, and self-determination. The Louisiana Purchase, 1803. In the early 1800s, the United States was a young nation, rapidly growing and expanding westward. President Thomas Jefferson, a visionary leader, saw an opportunity to secure the future of the nation. In 1803, he received an unexpected offer. Napoleon Bonaparte of France offered to sell the vast Louisiana territory to the United States. The deal was struck. For $15 million, the United States acquired over 800,000 square miles of land, doubling its size overnight. The Louisiana Purchase opened the door to westward expansion, unlocking opportunities and new horizons for generations to come. The Emancipation Proclamation, 1863. In the midst of the American Civil War, the nation grappled with the profound issue of slavery. President Abraham Lincoln, facing a divided nation and immense challenges, sought a path to unite the country. On January 1, 1863, President Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation, declaring that all persons held as slaves within Confederate territory are and henceforward shall be free. The Emancipation Proclamation was a turning point in the fight against slavery. It not only symbolized a moral imperative, but also had significant strategic implications in the Civil War. The women's suffrage movement, 1920. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, women in the United States embarked on a courageous journey for equality. Suffragists, led by brave women like Susan B. Anthony and Elizabeth Cady Stanton, fought tirelessly for the right to vote. Decades of struggle, protest, and advocacy followed as suffragists marched, picketed, and faced opposition. In 1920, the 19th Amendment to the Constitution was ratified, granting women the right to vote. It was a monumental victory. The Great Depression and the New Deal, 1930s. In the 1930s, the United States faced its darkest economic hour as the Great Depression brought widespread unemployment and suffering. President Franklin D. Roosevelt, determined to address the crisis, introduced the New Deal, a series of programs and reforms. The New Deal aimed to provide relief, recovery, and reform. It included initiatives like the Civilian Conservation Corps and the Social Security Act. The New Deal transformed America, creating jobs, regulating banks, and laying the foundation for a social safety net. The attack on Pearl Harbor, 1941. On December 7, 1941, a date that will live in infamy, the United States was thrust into World War II as the Japanese Imperial Navy launched a devastating surprise attack on Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. The attack led to the loss of over 2,400 American lives and the destruction of numerous ships and aircraft, including the USS Arizona. In the aftermath of the attack, President Franklin D. Roosevelt declared war on Japan, uniting the nation in its resolve to defend freedom. Pearl Harbor marked a turning point in World War II as the United States committed its full might to the Allied cause. The Civil Rights Movement, 1950s to 1960s. In the mid-20th century, the United States was deeply divided along racial lines, with systemic discrimination and segregation entrenched in many aspects of American life. The Civil Rights Movement emerged as a response to this injustice, with leaders like Martin Luther King Jr., Rosa Parks, and Malcolm X at the forefront. The movement achieved significant milestones, including the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965, which outlawed discrimination and protected voting rights. Though progress was made, the struggle for civil rights continues today, with ongoing efforts to combat racism and inequality. The civil rights movement stands as a testament to the power of collective action, nonviolent protest, and the pursuit of justice. The Moon Landing, 1969. In the midst of the Cold War, the United States and the Soviet Union engaged in a fierce competition known as the space race. In 1969, NASA's Apollo 11 mission, commanded by Neil Armstrong and carrying Buzz Aldrin and Michael Collins, set its sights on the moon. On July 20th, 1969, Neil Armstrong descended from the lunar module and uttered those immortal words, "That's one small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind." The moon landing opened a new frontier of exploration, expanding our understanding of the universe and inspiring generations. The end of the Cold War, 1991. For decades, the world was caught in the grip of the Cold War, a tense standoff between the United States and the Soviet Union, marked by ideological and geopolitical rivalry. In the late 1980s, winds of change swept through Eastern Europe. Citizens, tired of totalitarian regimes, took to the streets in waves of peaceful protests. On November 9, 1989, the world watched in awe as the Berlin Wall, a symbol of division, fell. It was a momentous event that signaled the beginning of the end. Leaders like Gorbachev and Ronald Reagan engaged in dialogue, paving the way for historic agreements like the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty. The end of the Cold War reshaped the world, leaving the United States as the unquestionable, sole remaining superpower in the world. These 10 key moments in American history are just a glimpse into the nation's complex and rich tapestry. They remind us of the enduring values, resilience, and capacity for change that have defined the United States.